I paid attention in the last hour to the strategy sessions that were 35,000 feet compelling and pretty fast-paced and high technology driven. To run counter to that, I want in the next 9 minutes to give you 2 quick tactical ideas that you might use later this week. The reason I get these, you can always tell where someone's coming from by what they used to do. So yes, I'm an ex-programmer. Yes, I'm a true geek, and I understand the difference between geek and nerd. A nerd is a geek with a hygiene problem. I am a geek. I had a job for 10 years doing the job that George Clooney played in Up in the Air, the movie. Seen it? I had that job without the sex. I paid attention to the people who were getting fired. If this is a distribution curve of the people at your firm or your organization, we can pretty much trisect the distribution curve into the high performers, the people in the mid-pack, and the low performers. Think about your team. Put a name on 1 or 2 of the high performers. Go ahead, think about it. You know their names because why? Give me a couple examples. What does a high performer look like in your organization? I need 3 people to say something. They stand out. Take leadership. One more. Self-starter. Okay. Low performers. Let's talk about them. 3 words about low performers. Complain. Vampires. Yeah, shut up. Get out. Negative. Okay. Where do your managers and supervisory teams spend all their time? Down here, trying to make idiots mediocre. Who is important to the success and innovation of your future? Want to keep them, right? Do high performers work for money, yes or no? No. They work for challenge, recognition, reward, attention. Go back to your office, next supervisory training meeting, pop this up on the wall, and put these numbers on it. Get them agreeing and say that 60% of the output goods and services of your firm come from, if this is 20 people, average deviation from the mean, that's 3 people. 3 people are producing 60% of the goods and output and goodwill of your organization. Make sense? That's how important they are. These 14 that don't hurt you, but they show up, they create another 60%. Do the math, you know, your CPAs. That's a minus number. That's how dangerous they are. Not only do they not produce anything, but they make the high performers mad. Here, okay, so everybody will buy into that. Then ask your leadership team, where do they spend their time? And they'll say right here. You got them. Ask them, why don't they spend time here? What will they say? Give me 3 things they'll say. They don't need it. Don't need it. They're self-starters. Do you see how dangerous this is? If you're a high performer, you feel what? Ignored, not loved, not stretched, unappreciated? There is going to be a talent shortage in the future. Not a body shortage, a talent shortage in the future. If your leadership team does a 10% better job of retaining your high performers, is that a competitive advantage? If your high performers do a 10% better job of innovating new ideas, is that a competitive advantage? What's the silver bullet in all of this? Listening to your high performers. First off, figure out who they are. But second, let me correct that. How many of us are extroverts? Show of hands. Introverts do nothing. Well, who's better? I'm an extrovert. I have 2 modes. I'm either talking or I'm waiting for you to stop. I have had to learn as a supervisor I've had to learn the key skill in all of this, which is appearing to listen. Yeah. So if I were to work with your team, that's what I'd work on. Okay, that's lesson number 1. Everybody can write that down. Distribution curve, do this, catch the managers. And the goal for the managers is to go back and shower some love on who? I mean, don't stop with these people, but have a performance management system in place so that if they truly are low performers, they can have a chance to be low performers somewhere else. Okay? All right, moving on here. Innovation is the theme of today. I did something interesting in preparation for this. I went into the discovery labs at Lilly and had a talk with the discovery chemists who think up new prescriptions. And they have about 100 of them, and I checked their backgrounds, and about 30 of the 100 have all of the patents. About 30 of the 100 have done all of the investigation work. I then went, so 30 of the 100, I went to those 30, I talked to about 6 of them, and said, why are you the holder of all the patents? All of you 100 appear to be just as smart, but from an innovation standpoint, clearly, you're the superstar. I didn't say it in those words. He said something interesting. They did not attribute it to education. They did not attribute it to anything but this word, luck. I'm just lucky, I guess. Interesting. In the next 6 years, you will be hiring new teams, new staff, new people. Make it your job to hire people who see themselves as fortunate. Let's go another step further. Make it your job to never hire anyone who describes themselves as unlucky. I'm an HR expert. I have checked the rules. Unlucky people are not a protected class in the ADA. You can do it. And if you wanted one quick question that would drive a significant amount of innovation and competitiveness your way, add to your current mix of interview questions this question. In general, at work, are you fortunate? Please give an example. You will be amazed. 10% of the population you ask that of will blink and say, no, they're not lucky. That's what we're doing. We're screening out the ones that are victims. We're screening out the ones that do not have a feedback loop, that they pay attention, take responsibility for their own actions, and fix things. This is probably the most powerful thing I could teach you today, is keep high-quality, high-performing people coming into your pool of people, and you will be rewarded by a competitive advantage as we go forward. Is anyone here currently asking some variation of, are you lucky? She asks, do you describe an ideal job, or is it describe an ideal job you have had? No, an ideal job. What's your ideal job? What's the ideal job? And from that, she discerns quite a bit. Let me make it even stronger. Ask them specifically, what's the best job you've had and why? What's the worst job you've had and why? From that, you will not be getting their behaviors. Can they fake behaviors for 91 days? You will not be getting results. You will be getting their values. Can people fake values? I work in an environment very similar to a CPA firm. I'm on the senior team at a 100-person insurance agency and brokerage consulting firm. We hire for values. We can teach anybody insurance. It just legalized gambling. We hire for values, and if people have aligned with your values, you won't see your young associates quitting in 3 years. If you've got supervisors that appear to be listening to them and the firm is aligned with them, they will stay. And that will make all the difference. Thank you very much. That's my 10 minutes.